Welcome to the 1% Club. Yes, I am back in California. Great to be here, everyone. Flew in last night from Fiji, man. 15 hours, 10 hours over water. Woo! So I'm jet lagging a little bit, but I'm doing pretty good actually. So great to be back. I know I missed you the last 2 weeks. I thought I would do this from Fiji, but man, I don't know what they have to fire up the internet in Fiji, but it's not much. It was hit and miss totally. So great to be with you. For those of you that don't know, yes, I'm trying to wake up and drink coffee and I went through 19 hours. I left just for fun while we're waiting for people to jump on. I left Fiji Monday night at 9:30, which is today Tuesday? It's Tuesday, right? Yes. It was 9:30 last night when I left Fiji, 9:30. And then I arrived in LA at noon on Monday. So I left at 9:30 at night and arrived at LA at noon on Monday, 3-hour layover, got back to Sacramento about 5:30 last night. So it was just like this weird time vortex. So it's actually Wednesday for me on my body clock. It's tomorrow already, but that's a long story. So if you don't know where Fiji is, and I did, I kept looking at it. You go all the way around the world to Australia, and then you go 3.5 more hours out in the middle of nowhere, and that's Fiji. And in case you're wondering what it's like, and I'm just giving a couple more minutes for people to get here, I'll give you the Fiji story, and I'll tell you why I was there. But it's I would imagine it's what Hawaii looked like in 1940s. It's rural. It's very underdeveloped. It was beautiful and very Polynesian. They communicate on drums. I kid you not, man. They welcomed us on drums. Anything happened, there's these drums. They're like this wood thing, and the bigger they are, they had one at our resort that was like 7 feet long, 4 feet wide, and you hit that thing, and the sound, the bass that would come off, and I guarantee you they could hear it from miles away. They would warn people. Fiji used to be cannibalism. They told us that. I'm like, I go, baby, lock the door. But we had a great time. We were right on the water. We stayed at Tony Robbins' home in Fiji at his Namali resort. And we were there for the health and wealth event. It was 7 days. If you ever get the chance, do it. I ate green juice for 7 days, celery juice for 7 days, and had liver rescue salads for lunch and dinner. That's all I ate for 7 days. So I'm feeling burly. Anyways, it was awesome. It was a great time. Just studied health all day, all afternoon, all night. And then for 4 days, the last 3 days, we did wealth. Where are you investing? Why is it important to diversify, how to buy cash flowing things? And so it's pretty cool. So enough said, but we'll give you a little update on Fiji. That's where I've been. And we went like 4 days early and golfed, and we stayed 5 days, 6 days afterwards. And so it was like 16, 17 days in Fiji. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever go back, because it was a huff to get there. It's full of Australians and Kiwis from New Zealand. It's only 3.5 hours from Australia and New Zealand. So it's like they're Hawaii. On the West Coast, we have Hawaii. It's about 4.5 hours, 4 hours and 45 minutes. So there's just loaded with Australians. It's really fun to hear them all talk and to be there. So it was a good time. All right, enough said. Grab your notepads, grab your pens. I'm going to do 10 keys to leadership today. So you may want to write this down. And it's so great to see all of you. Will Higgins, what's going on? Marguerite, it's good to see you. I know you were raising money and buying things for kids here locally. That is awesome. You're so awesome, Marguerite. She's always helping with that. And Tristan's here from Hilton Head. Tristan, did you dodge that hurricane? I know North Carolina got it bad. Hilton Head was fine, right?
Yeah, we were good. I had a daughter up in Boone. We had to go rescue her, but Hilton Head was fine.
Yeah, I have friends. I just grabbed some lunch, and my buddy lives in Nashville. He's from Asheville. He said a 100-foot tree went wham along the side of his house that nicked the rain gutter, brought the nick gutter in. He said it would just split my house in half. It was crazy. So, Carolyn, yes.
Yeah, my sisters in-laws, their house was wiped out, and my daughter got married, and my brother-in-law couldn't come. They're on power backup, and I have a home in Central Florida that's about to be wiped out by Milton.
Oh yeah, that's
We
crazy.
need prayers on the East Coast, baby.
Yeah, they do. That's crazy. 10, 15 feet of storm surge.
Everybody's coming through to help. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. Clark, good to see you. Jim Fury, what's up? Jason, Janet, hi Janet. Kevin and Stacy are in the house. What's up, guys? Liz Brown from Richmond, Virginia. And and Liz, the other Liz, there you are, Liz. Here, I see you. Your hand flashed. You're both. I see my. Anyways, Liz from Fort Worth. Hi, Liz. Good to see you. Melanie Weaver's in the house. Hi, Melanie. There you go. And Nick Lynch was doing the wave all by himself before any of you got here. I was like, what is he doing, man? Anyway, so with that said, here comes Matthew Stewart. Matthew was there. We booked, by the way, we booked Fiji during our platinum trip. And that was during COVID. And they canceled because Fiji didn't let people go on the island for 2 weeks. And then we rebooked, year after year after year, flights, everything. We gave up. But Matthew and Lexi decided to go. And of course, they get in first shot. So they were in Fiji with us and drinking celery juice.
Yeah, baby.
Salads. But hey, the apples were a lifesaver, and the pears. That little tiny apples. It was like, oh my God, I have an apple. And it was like half the size of a normal apple. And you just held that thing. And it was the greatest thing in the world. So anyways, it's good to be back. And it was powerful and life-changing. So learned a lot. Very, very educational. Matt, since you were there, Matthew, give them 30 seconds of what you thought of the event that Tony Robbins put on.
I thought one of the real magical things is if you've done any Tony Robbins, normally they're really big and rambunctious and UPW, lots of people, arenas sometimes. And this was a room of 115 people. And most of the people that were there, let me close my door real quick. My wife's talking away. All right. Are like 115 people in this room. And most of the people there are people that are doing pretty well at their business or their life or their job, because it's no cheap trip to get there. So you got this intimate room of just kind of rock stars that are really serious about their health and building wealth and learning how to do that and create a money machine. So that was pretty amazing, kind of that meeting outside the meeting aspect of the networking that you get and some of the connections that are made. And then really getting different perspectives on what it is to be wealthy. We kind of got that defined, that's not just about the dollar figure or what have you. It's about how well you live your life, both health and all sorts of things, and how
Matthew
you define
and Lexi got recognized. They said, stand up if you make more money from your investments than it costs you to live. In other words, if they didn't do anything the rest of the year, could they pay all their bills and continue to travel? And they stood up. There were couples. There were only maybe out of 120, there were maybe, how many think couples stood up for being able to pay all their bills without having to work?
I don't know. I wasn't really counting because I was standing. I don't know. It was maybe 30.
Yeah, that's it. Not that many. Me either. I wasn't standing. I own a lot of assets, but they're not cash flowing. So I failed that test, So it was interesting. I kind of forgot. Oh yeah, you have to buy assets that cash flow, not just have assets. So I'm like, duh. So super awesome. Learned a lot of good stuff about that. Okay, well, let's get going. Thank you, Matthew, for sharing that.
Thanks.
It was good. Okay, so what we're doing is 10 keys to leadership. Number 1. And this is like a checklist for you, like go home today and fix this immediately if you don't have this. Number 1, a leader has vision. So if I were to say, Melanie Weaver, right now, unmute yourself, give us your vision for your life. Kevin, right now, Kevin and Stacy, stand up, give us your vision. What is your clear vision? You got it, go. And so if you go and I couldn't do that right now. So go fix it. Go home tonight and go, what is it I want? I have a son. And I'm going to be meeting with him, I think, for dinner tonight. I'm going to say, what do you want for your life? His name is Nolan, my adopted son. I'm going to say, what do you want, Nolan? Tell me if you could have anything. Do you want to be married? Do you want to have a family someday? Would you like to own a house? Would you like a boat? If you could afford a boat. He loves to fish. And he loves to go in the mountains and camp. And I'm going to ask him about all those dreams. And I'm going to get him, put it all on paper. I mean, if you could do this, not Ferraris and mansions. I mean, it's fine if whatever, but like realistic, what do you want out of life? Do you want to help people? Do you want to, what is it you want, Nolan? And I'm gonna write it all down. And he's gonna tell me, I'm like, okay, so what's your plan to get there? And he's gonna look at me going, I have no idea how to do that. I'm gonna say, okay, so I'm gonna start him off with 30 days of power with Tony Robbins. It's something he can listen to every day for 30 days, and Tony's gonna walk him through what he needs to do. That's just a starting place for him. But I'm gonna start pointing, but it's for you. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. You know, what is your vision? Without a vision, you're in trouble. You better have a vision. Otherwise, you're what my friend Zig Ziglar calls a wandering generality. You do not want to be a wandering generality. Wandering generalities are not history makers. Wandering generalities are not world shakers. You want to be a world shaker, history maker, type of person. You better have a vision. So go fix that tonight. Number 2, a leader doesn't sweat the small stuff. Leader doesn't sweat the small stuff. Write it down. Write it down. Don't just listen. And ready? Here's the secret. You ready? It's all small stuff. It's all, for the most part, it's all small stuff. Okay? That's number 2. And number 3, a leader is positive, not Pollyanna. And I get it. There's stuff that happens, right? But they're positive. They're like, your house does get hit by a tree. It's smashed in half. Okay, where are we going? Who are we going to meet? We're on a new adventure. Let's go. I mean, Tony Robbins says 90 seconds for feeling bad. 90 seconds for having a pity party. Admit it. Yeah, that happened, and it sucks. This sucks. I broke my arm. I broke my leg. I broke my hip. I got fired. I overdrew my checking account. Go ahead, be upset, be disturbed for 9. It's the 90-second rule. You wallowing in it and coming home and kicking the dog and taking it out on your family is completely and totally unacceptable. Taking it out on your husband, we know how you ladies are. You get us. No, I'm kidding. Or men, right? Taking it on your wife and your kids, unacceptable. 90-second rule for leaders. Okay, so challenge that thinking. So they're positive, they're not negative. You dwell on the negative, you'll get more. You'll get in a worse mood, and a worse poo. It's like this whirlpool, just, and then you're grabbing people, bringing them into your life, and you're telling them how horrible this is and that is. So dwell on the positive. Okay, the bright side, the upside. Like, where's the silver lining in this? This sucks. Yeah, but what can I learn from it? Barry Mathis, a good friend of mine, he's right there 8 doors down. He said today, we were talking, he has this property, 2 properties he bought up in Applegate. He flipped 2 homes at once, and they were major projects. And he's like, oh, that was a mistake. He goes, dear God, get me out of Applegate. He's been in it for like half a year, and it was way too much. I go, what'd you learn? He goes, I totally learned what not to do ever again. I go, that's a win. It's a win, So the best experience is OPE, other people's experience. OPE, right? There's other people's money, and there's other people's experience. And the shortcut to not pay, write this down, to not pay the dumb tax is to learn from other people's experience. But sometimes you're just going to learn through trial and error. You're going to go, okay, when I do this, bad things happen. I need to not do that. Note to self, don't buy 2 major flips in a row. He did it because they're on the same property. He thought it would be easy. He was wrong. Okay, so enough said there. Number 4, if you're going to throw up. In other words, don't throw down and don't throw across. What am I talking about? If you're upset, call your sponsor. Call your sponsor. Call Amy Weaver. Call Tony King, call Glenn Sanford, call me, call Gene Frederick, throw up. Will, call Leo, call Rosie, call, this is the jet lag kicking in. Oh my God. Casey, call Joseph. He's got a whole team there you can call, but don't call your downline. I see people throw up on their, and I hate the word downline, never use that, but on their organization, they actually throw up on their people. I'm like, I see it happen. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you'll never, ever, ever see me do that. It's like, do you not have bad days? Sure I do. But B, well, when I call Glenn Sanford, and I've called Glenn upset, this and that, I always give them good news. It's my job to motivate Glenn. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It is your job to motivate your sponsor. It is your job to motivate your sponsor. You want people to help you, call you, motivate them, call them, tell them what's great. I always tell Glenn, I tell Leo, anyone I get, Amy Weaver, I'm always giving them, I don't just call them, I got a problem. What are you going to do? This sucks. I don't do that. That's not who I am. Because I've had Glenn say to me, he's walked away from certain people. He said, please never, ever let that person near me again. I've only heard him do it once in 7 years. You don't want to be that person. Now, this person was like, oh my gosh. You want to inspire people, right? I mean, are there certain people that they're harder to love than others, right? They're like, oh, and I have a reversion to calling them. Absolutely. They keep me from calling them. If I call them, what are they going to complain about this time? So I don't even want to call them. And I'm like, because I care about my mental and emotional state. And so are you repelling people? Are you attracting people? You want to attract people to XP, but are you personally repelling people or attracting people? Are you a force for good? Or are you a part of the devil's crew, right? A hell on earth. What's it going to be? And what you focus on expands, man. We'll get more into that. But if you're going to throw up, it's in the name. It's called throw up. Don't call your buddy. Don't call, maybe you've got tight with Jay Kender, or you're tight with Chuck Fazio or Curtis Johnson, or Tina Call was just in Sacramento. Marguerite spent a lot of time with Tina Call, got to hang out with her. Don't call Tina Call and throw up on Tina Call. She's your cross line. Well, we got to be real. Go ahead. You're really not a leader. Because how would you like people calling your people and throwing up on them because they want to be real? Right? I want to be real. Oh, there was Barry just got in the picture for a sec. But anyways, there he is. That's cool, Nick. It's like, hey, Bear. But anyway, so the point is you want to be real, you want to be real, but take it to the right direction, not across, not down, throw up. Barry, I was telling about your Apple Hill and or Applegate and how you learned what not to do. And so it's all good, even when you're like, oh my gosh, like, what'd you learn? I learned what not to do. And sometimes it's going to be that way, right, Barry, through experience. And
absolutely. I mean, I think sometimes I tend to learn things better that way because it really sticks in your brain when you learn it that way.
No, Barry, you don't want to learn it through pain and suffering. You don't want to, you want to like I hired Matt Plummer to help me with my finances. I've learned it that way for 20 years. I'm going to the pros, man. I'm
there
like,
you go.
I want to not pay the dumb tax anymore. I
Barry
want cash
is hard-headed.
Yeah, Barry, like, give me more. I'm learning. And I get it because you're proud of yourself. We know what I'm proud about, Barry. He's willing to fail. He's willing to suffer. He's willing to scrap. He's willing to fight like a dog. He's had 2 guys try to throw him off an aircraft carrier when he was in the Navy. And man, he grabbed on to like every piece of metal on that battleship. And they were going to throw him in the ocean in the middle of the night. And he wasn't going to let him do it. He's a fighter. And I respect him for that. And you guys are fighters too. You wouldn't be here, the 1% Club. Thank you, Barry. Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Good. Yep. Okay. So number 5, a leader raises the temperature in the room. When you walk into a room, and by the way, it's Zoom. Like Jim Fury, I'm looking at you. Melanie, I'm looking at you. Janet, I'm looking at your head. You got a cool backdrop, right? See, she smiled. But you think, by the way, if you're doing this, now I have it on to see you guys interact with you. You guys should go to view because you can be distracted by the group and you go speaker view. Boom, I just did it. Now I only see Nick Lynch. But hopefully you guys, for me, it comes up to you, Nick. But for everyone else, hopefully you're seeing me when you go speaker view, not because I'm a narcissist and I have to, if you see me, because you can go back to Galley. Go ahead and go back to Galley, everyone, if you're on Galley view. People are distracting. You'll watch them take a phone call. You'll watch them. Remember, we're watching you. You're actually distracting me. It always bugs me when I watch people take phone call. I'm sorry. I wish it didn't. It didn't. It kind of like, I wish, and it only bugs me. It's like, okay, it's fine. You take a phone call. Just turn off your video. Don't make us watch you take your phone call. Right. And so it matters what's behind you. It matters your backdrop. Like right here, we just put this bad boy up. That's actually on the wall. It's a It's a picture. Where's Rob? That's not a window. That's a full size, huge. My office is actually that away. That's my actual office, but I don't sit in front of the glass window. So we actually put that behind me because otherwise I had you could see it was just all dark blue sheetrock. And so we care about what's behind us. So you're cognizant of how you're dressed. Before we got on, I took my phone and I looked at, was my hair in place? You know, do I look incredibly dashing? And I'm like, ooh, you look good, baby. And so I'm like, okay, and I noticed, by the way, I did notice my shirt was buttoned down to here and it was kind of like open like that. Little details, the details matter. And I went, ooh, that's not a good look. And so I buttoned it up. I looked at myself. By the way, I was on this morning with the 149 leaders for EXP, and they were coaching us on how to talk at EXP Con, going over, hey, please don't swear, you're representing EXP. EXP agents are going to be there and guests of EXP agents. If you're up there dropping F-bombs and this and that, not okay. Be cognizant of how you're dressed. There'll be a lot of panels. You're going to be on bar stools. Ladies, don't wear a mini skirt. People may, be crossing your legs the whole time, and so you may want to wear a dress that goes over your knees so that you're not, if you're up on stage way up high and you're in a bar and they're like, think about these things. And so they went over all that stuff today. But guess what? On the chat, I'm going, this is awesome. Thank you. I'm encouraging everyone in the chat. I type in the chat. I didn't just leave. I got busy, but I left my camera off at that point and my mic off because I do something for Kathy and the kids. We've been gone for 16 days, but I didn't leave because when it leaves, it says Brent Gove left the room. I didn't want to have them see, oh, Brent left, must not be good. Oh, someone's mic's hot. I don't know who that was. But anyways, the point is this: are you aware of your mic not being on? Are you aware of what's behind you? Are you aware of how you look? Are you aware of how you're dressed? And then are you smiling, right? I realize you can't sit here and smile all the time, but like you got to be cognizant of anything. So a leader raises the temperature of the room. They're room lifters. And you're not walking and go, hey, everybody, I'm here. But you walk in with some certainty. You walk in here to love people, here to go. You know what a leader does? He looks for the person that's all by themselves and says, get over here. Nick Lynch, get over here. Come here, buddy. Join us. They bring people together. They don't go to the clique. I know that you know everybody. You know 5, 10, 15 people. It's the person sitting over on the wallflower. You need to go get them. I've been teaching my kids this for 20 years. Go get the wallflower. Bring people to you're inclusive. I'm very inclusive. Am I perfect? No. Have I made mistakes and missed things? Sure. But I'm forgiving of myself, and I can tell you this, I give it 110% most days. And the days I don't, maybe it's 120. I mean, I give it what I can. And so don't you love it when people pay attention to you? When the room's there and here comes Leo Robles or Glenn Sanford, and then instead of going around, maybe they walk over to you. Like, I've never had that happen. Well, did you put yourself in the right room? I was in Fiji. Was Matthew Stewart still here? I don't know. I don't know if I see him. There was here you are, Matthew. There was a guy in Fiji who was making over $200,000 a month passive cash flow from his investments. I have thousands. I mean, that's it. Thousands, as in like maybe 4,000 or 5,000 a month cash flow from my investments, millions of dollars of investments, but the cash flow is horrible. Stock
Doesn't rev share count, Brent?
No, it doesn't. They would not let you income from your business. Otherwise, I was kicking butt and I would have been doing good. But their point was, what if something happened to your business? Like, what if I had making $700,000 a month from my flooring company in Asheville, North Carolina? Who would think Asheville, North Carolina would get hit like that? Parts of Florida, there's no more real estate happening. If that was where you sold real estate and you had 30 listings and now there's 10 feet of sand and every home's destroyed, you're out of business overnight. You want to make money? Move to Miami, like pick up and move your family. So if something were to happen, the government stepped in with EXP, my income stops. All I'm left with is $4,000 a month for my investments. And I spend more than $4,000 a month. Are you with me? So I'm like, oh, I missed that part. I mean, they're always talking about cash flowing investments. I'm like, I don't want to have anything active. I just, it seems like I have to do stuff and I would just shut down to that. So I don't want to deal with it. I'd rather just have diversification and different investments and different quadrants and all that sort of thing. But the point is, okay, now it taught me I need to actually work on it. It's not going to magically happen. You got to work at it. And so I'm actually, Matthew Stewart and Lexi are really good. They're trained by David Ramsey. They paid off. Matthew, unmute yourself. You got married and you guys paid off how much debt? 100,000 worth of debt your first year or two or something?
Yeah. And she was coming off food stamps, single mom of 3 kids.
Yep. And they've only been married how many years?
8.
8. And now they have more income than it costs them to live. They travel all over the world. They golf all over the world. They've done that in 8 years. So guess who's helping us? And because they use a program called Every Dollar. Well, guess who got us on Every Dollar? Matt Plummer. So Matt's right here. He's going to be here next week in Sacramento. He also is trained that way. Matt, unmute yourself. You paid off how much in debt?
We eliminated $551,000 worth of debt.
And you lost how much weight?
108 pounds.
So Matt is my hero. I don't worship the guy, but I might be close. No, I'm kidding. Only the Lord. But here's the deal. He's done what I want to do. So guess what? I hired Matt. Oh, they both start with Matt. I realized.
I was going to say, it's 2 Matts.
M&Ms. I've always
They're
liked
both good
M&Ms.
golfers.
And I love M&Ms. They're sweet and good. Anyways, you guys are awesome. So they're both helping me with my finances because it's an area I'm great at making money. I'm even better at spending money. But I have to learn how to not only manage money, which we do. We have bookkeepers. I mean, I can crank out a P&L. I can tell you everything at the push of a button. We're dialed in that way. But I wasn't dialed in with cash flowing assets. And then now we're on this this digital platform on my phone called Every Dollar. Before you spend money, look at it. It's cool. You can do all kinds of stuff. But I'm getting help where I need it. I'm not becoming an accountant. I'm getting help and getting my people. I have a CFO and we're all in here together and we're learning together. And so I don't mean to overdo it, but enough said there. But boy, I got all that from number 5, raise the temperature of every room you walk into. Be room with. Number 6, I got to move on. I got to go fast. Number 6, be masters of massive action. Leaders or at one point, all of you have taken massive action. And you got to get there again. There's different times where you got to catch pedal. It's like a surfer. You caught a great wave last year. This year, you got to get out in the water. You got to look, there it is. And you start paddling. Oh, I think I got it. And then you start paddling. Then you catch the wave and you ride that wave. I watched Marguerite do it. Mama Marguerite in the REO world. She was the monster REO agent. Everybody knew Marguerite, and they still do. She's a pillar in the real estate community here in Sacramento. But she was a massive action kind of woman. She sold, Marguerite, unmute yourself. How many homes did you sell a year? It was crazy.
During REO, I was doing 250 to 300 homes a year.
Yeah. And so everybody knew her. Everybody wanted to know her. They're begging her, take my offer, Marguerite.
But I spent a long time doing thousands of BPOs when nobody else wanted to do them. So, you know, there's a lot to that too.
Yeah.
Just like all the calls you made before you became Brent Gove.
Yeah. Yep. I was just Brent before I became Brent Gove. Anyways, but it's good. Liz Brown. You've got TikTok, I think, or what is it you got, Liz? Unmute yourself. What are you the queen of?
TikTok.
It
you
is
got it
TikTok.
right.
So are there followers in that? I sound like an idiot right now.
Yes, there's followers in that. Yes.
How many followers do you have? I'm not on TikTok.
It's all right. 64,000.
That's so awesome. So the day you started, did you have 64,000?
No, I had 0.
0. You didn't have 34,000? No one just gave you 10,000. Did I give you 10,000 followers? No, I didn't. I wouldn't even know how to find TikTok. I don't even know. Someone finally had me put Instagram on my phone. I think, how many do I have Instagram followers? How many do I have?
I know.
You have them.
Yeah, I have them. Yep. So I think 10,000 or something, but we all start with the first podcast, the first YouTube on the YouTube channel, the first TikTok, the first Instagram. And then Liz, you put in massive actions. You said, okay, I'm gonna start making these TikTok videos. And today you have 64,000. And has it hurt you or helped your business, Liz?
Changed my whole life.
Well, there you have it.
That's
So
it.
you want to change your whole life with TikTok? Talk to Liz. You want to change your whole life to Instagram? Talk to whoever that is. Finance. One of the things that Tony Robbins said, whatever your business is, if it's the flooring business, have a product you sell online about flooring. The hacks of the flooring business. Roofing company, have a product you sell online about how to get a roof for next to nothing, or how to fix your roof that's, you know, limping along. Have a product you sell online that the world can buy, $29.99, $19.99. Have a product with your business, at least one that you could sell. Matt, yours could be how I lost 100 pounds. It could be how I paid off $500,000 worth of debt. Two different products. You could charge X for it and just let it sell. Give you a case in point. Tony Robbins made 30 days of unlimited power 20 years ago, 25 years ago. It's still selling. Dean Graziosi was there teaching us about marketing and business. And he had certain things he recorded, you know, 20, 25, 30 years ago. They're online. They're still selling. The products are selling right now while I'm talking to you. I go to bed and my account just goes ding, 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 all night long. You want to put overalls on your money, and you want a product. Every one of you have a crown molding company, have a product about crown molding on your website people can buy. Whatever, chiropractic, have a product about. It was really good. It was really good, and it makes sense. Like, what is it you know? I got to keep going, Carolyn, for the sake of time. I'm sorry. So number 6, they're masters of massive action, led by example, in their momentum builders. This builds momentum if you do the massive action. And when you don't have massive, it doesn't build momentum. Number 7, 10 keys of leadership. Number 7, they're congruent. You are congruent with your goals. Congruent with your goals. Your actions do the talking. It's the old, your actions speak so loud I can hardly hear what you're saying. Number 8, they focus on the vision and their goals. Where focus goes, energy flows. Are you focused on the problem? Are you focused on the solution? And being cognizant of the Zoom rooms you enter, the podcasts you listen to. There are certain podcasts and they're toxic. They're super toxic. And they may be on something that's important to you, like prepping for disaster, but they're so into it, they've gone too deep and they're dark. There's people who are really against conservatives. There are people who are really against liberals, people really against the Democrats, really against the Republicans, but they cross a line where it becomes toxic. Be careful. Be careful. And all of a sudden they become toxic. And then you start getting so upset about that Trump. You're so upset about Kamala. And because you're passionate, I get that. But it's robbing you of energy. It's robbing you of joy. Vote. Encourage people to vote. Have principles, do it. But if you're not filled with love and gratitude, you're on the wrong podcast. You got to turn off that news channel. There's not a single news channel that you can watch that you feel better after 20 or 30 minutes. Not one. Not one in the world. Not one. I don't care if you're CNN or NBC or Fox News. Doesn't matter which one. All very different. You will feel horrible 30 minutes later. And I got to admit, I got back from Fiji. I'm like, what? Iran attacked it. I mean, I've been in a vacuum for 16 days. I'm like, Iran attacked Israel? What? And so I did. I got on, and sure enough, 30 minutes later, I felt worse. I had to read a book. I had to go pray. I got my sauna. I had to recenter myself. Where focus goes, energy flows. You do not want energy to go to the dark side. When mama's ticked off, mama's in a bad mood, mama's been focusing on the dark side. she's mad, and she's getting madder like a hornet. Or daddy comes home, kicks the dog. Why? Because he stayed past 90 seconds. Remember the 90-second rule. It'll serve you. The 90-second rule. And after you've been upset at your husband, upset at your wife, go for a walk, come back and say, honey, I love you. Because there are bigger things like that. I don't know if you guys ever heard me tell the story about the gentleman who I had sushi with, who asked him how his family was, and he cried uncontrollably for 15 minutes. I bumped into him in the airport last night. I haven't seen him in a decade. I bumped into him in the airport last night. Just reminded me to be grateful. Man, I felt sorry for myself because I had no shoes, so I met a man who had no feet. He lost his son that day, or a week prior to he and I meeting. I've never seen a human being cry like that in my life to suicide. I've never seen a grown man cry like that, ever, ever. And I probably never will again. It was unreal. And 10 years later, you know, he seemed to be doing okay and better. He seemed a little, you know, I don't know, but it was interesting. Okay, let's wrap up with this. Focus on the vision and the goals. Focus, focus, focus. Super important you focus on what is going well, what you can learn from this. Where's the silver lining? Number 9, leaders create and build of culture and education. Leaders create events that build culture and education. Sometimes it's just fun. Like going to the movies, playing volleyball, picnic, river, lake, cabin, beach. Yeah. And the best thing is when you could create like the cabin event or the beach event, or floating down a river or wine tasting or boating or something fun, renting a houseboat, create some sort of an event. I can't afford that. Well, what if you had the roofer chip in $500 or general contractor and you invited them $500 and somebody else 500, and then you took OPM, other people's money, take the $1,500, you rent the houseboat for the day and you invite everybody out and you put 30, 40 people on the houseboat and you motor over to an island, you put out easy ups and you just have a great time. And maybe you have people go around sharing and it's inspirational and fun and there's building friendships. A leader creates events that builds culture and education. In other words, they support their people. What do people need? They want to be invited. They want to be included. They want an invitation. And so, and that was number 9. Number 10, and we're done with this one. Ready? They constantly go to growth events. And someone says, well, how'd you learn to speak? I go, man, I've been going to stuff for 40 years. And it didn't take 40 years, you know. It took probably, you know, 3, 4, 5 years of doing it and then getting up there and, you know, doing it and all that. But are you going to John Maxwell? Are you going to Les Brown? Are you going to Dennis Waitley stuff? Are you going to Zig Ziglar stuff like that? Zig's gone, obviously. But Tony Robbins stuff, 10X, go to growth events, fill your tanks so you can overflow and fill the tanks of others. But when you're so low yourself, you have nothing to give. You just want to quit. And so that's why I was in Fiji for 16 days. Brent Gove was filling his tank. It's the love tank. So I have love and gratitude flowing over to love you guys, encourage you guys. I'm with Matthew and Lexi Stewart. Matthew and his beautiful wife, Lexi, Kathy and I, we had a great time. Like, well, why don't you invite us? We didn't invite them. They invited us. I had Thanksgiving with John Jennings and Valerie. Why didn't you invite us? We didn't invite John and Valerie Jennings to Thanksgiving. They invited us. And sure, there's things we invite people to. Who are you inviting? Well, Glenn Sanford would never have Thanksgiving with me. How do you know if you ask him? Leo Preja would never have 4th of July or come over for Easter brunch. I don't know. Did you ask him? I think they may be busy. They may not be able to. And I'm not looking for a Thanksgiving invitation. I'll be in PR. You know, I'm not, you know, but what I'm saying is, do you know there's somebody who's could use love and encouragement? So the size of the window you give through is the size of the window you get through. It is so much better to give than to receive. Just give love and you'll feel the love. You don't go looking for love. If you're looking for love, you will never find it. Just be loving, keep giving. You guys are incredible. And guess what? I have a doctor's appointment right now to review my blood work. So I got to go do that right now at My Best Life Medical. So there is no, and I should have told you, I'm sorry. It's the jet lag. I'll blame everything on the jet lag. Excuses. So there is no mastering sales today. I just got back and did this. So capiche, we're done. I'm going to grab my car keys right here and run to My Best Life Medical. So I'm out of here so I can be healthy and be here for a long time. Joanne, good to see you. Love you guys. Thanks for being on today. Mwah, mwah. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.